Super Draco here, and we're back for stage 136 about build the Battleship Bismarck, the stand and battery box. So to get started, we're going to bring in our base plate, and then on the bottom of it, we're going to apply 4 of these rubber cushions. These are similar to the things they put on furniture and other things, just so they won't move around, so the base has a high amount of friction. Which is good because we don't want our Bismarck rattling around. So we're going to do this 4 times, and then we're going to go to the next step. Next, we're going to install the bracket with 2 2x3x6mm PB screws, and you want that arrow pointing in this orientation. You want it pointing towards the left, towards the far side. So next we're going to bring in the clasp, and that's going to insert in and snap into place. And now we're done with this section for a while, so we're going to toss that to the side. Next we're going to bring in the battery box base and the battery compartment. Or I'm sorry, the battery box and the battery compartment base. We're just going to put it right on top of the base and then mount it with 2 2x6x4mm PB screws. So next we're going to bring in 4 C batteries, and we're going to load up the battery box. And this is just me and one of the intrusive thoughts coming through, but for as big and expensive as the Bismarck is, I had to go crazy out of my way to find a place that sold C batteries. Because I mean, again, with the price tag of the Bismarck, you think it would, I don't know, had like lithium ion batteries or some crap or something. But not old-fashioned C batteries. Like, that just is a mind blower to me. Anyway, once these are installed, we'll go to the next step. Okay, so next we're going to bring in the body of the stand. So what we're going to do is we're going to untie the battery, the cables to the battery box, and then we're going to feed that cable through the hole, through one of the holes. Now in this orientation, it's going to be the hole on the right side of the box. The instructions don't actually tell you to put the battery box inside yet. I'm just doing that so I can have as much wire as possible for the next step. So now for one of the most frustrating things I've done building the Bismarck. What we've got to do is we've got the sidearm parts. And so we've got to run that wire for the battery box up the sidearm parts. And the first one is going to have a number 1 on it. So what you're going to do is you're going to run that wire up through there. You want to make sure it doesn't go over the screw holes. And then you're going to fit a number 3 on top of it. Now, that sounds extremely simple, but this wire does not want to cooperate at all. Now, had I thought about it, I could have used electrical tape or a number of other things to help keep this wire in place. So, I'm probably just going to fast forward all this struggling at 6 times speed so you can laugh. Well, you can laugh, but you're going to have to turn the speed down to maximize. Once we have the two halves together, we're going to mount it together with a 2x3 by 6 millimeter PB screw. And yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen, so back to the fast forwarding, I think. Okay, so next we're going to bring in a stand arm part, or a side arm part number 2. Number 2 is going to match at the bottom in that ridge of the long part of number 1. And so then we're going to continue to feed the wire up the number 2, and once the wire's in place, we're going to take a sidearm part number 4 and dock it together. And then once we have the whole thing docked, then we're going to lock that section together with another 2x3 by 6 millimeter PB screw. So this was the harder part, I think. Because again, I could have made it easy on myself. I was just too stupid to do so. So next we're going to take this long sidearm. Now I'm going to move the battery box out of the way so I can feed the wires and the stand arm back through the hole. And again, we want to be careful we don't catch the wires on anything. And so then once we have that in place, we're going to use a 2x3 by 16 millimeter PB screw to lock this into place. We're going to do this at 6 times speed, but we're going to build another stand arm. So we're going to take a 1 and 3, lock those together with a screw, and then attach the 2 and the 4 with 2 more screws, and then we're going to insert that into the stand body and lock that in with a 2x3 by 16 millimeter PB screw. Next, we're going to flip over the top panel and we're going to fit the support column. So as you can see, the support column has a peg that's larger than the other 3 screw holes. So once you get that peg in, it'll line up the other screw holes. Once you got it lined up, we're going to mount that down with 3 2x3 by 6 millimeter PB screws. So next we're going to drop the bottom plate onto the stand, and now getting this in there is not easy the first time, so you got to put some force to it. But once you have it all the way in, and it's going to literally snap in there, you're going to hold it together with 6 2x6 by 6 millimeter PB screws. So with that done, all we got to do last is we're going to slide the battery box in, and you're going to push it all the way in till it clicks. And that's all we're going to do with the stand for this stage. The only thing you want to make sure is that the batteries are pointing up from the bottom plate. Okay, so next we're going to take the 4 of the 2 centimeter flat guns and cut them from the sprue, and we're just going to glue them to the deck. These at the rear superstructure between Caesar and Dora, and then the second one is going to go on the upper deck of the rear superstructure. Jumping to the forward superstructure, the next pair of flat guns will go on either side of the deck right behind the water break. The final 2 are going to go on the upper deck of the forward superstructure like so. Coming back to the rear of the ship, we're going to pull up the fourth deck, and then we're going to pick up the rear superstructure deck. And basically, we've got to unplug cable C8 from the third circuit board. Where's that fourth? I guess it's the third since it's C. Anyway, once we unplug it, we're going to put an extender on it. So basically, I'm going to fast forward this because I honestly don't know what the point of this is, because I had no function problems with it with anything before. Here's where I just got fed up and disconnected that circuit board from the rest, because I had already broken a bunch of stuff off of it, messing with it. So yeah, just disconnect it, make your life easier, work smarter, not harder, because you can always plug it back in later. So lastly, we need to move the forward superstructure out of the way, and then we're going to pull off that removable panel. And yeah, I should have thought a lot of things out better. So what we're going to do is we have two braces for the ship. The first one is a lengthwise brace that's going to go in between the struts on those magnets that hold on that panel. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the screws from the magnets, and then this pack is included longer screws, and you've seen them stuck to my magnet for a while earlier in the video. And so we're going to use that longer screw to mount the magnets, or mount the support beam or the brace in place. and you're supposed to put another brace going horizontally across the ship near the rear of the ship by the gearbox for the engines. That footage is gone and I can't find it. So I think I'm going to have to go get my phone serviced before my next big video project.